Did you know that UK data centres account for 1 to 2% of the nation's electricity? Did you also know this is set to increase to around 11 to 14% by 2035? Data centres' inordinate electricity consumption means that energy inefficiency can be extremely costly, not just economically, but environmentally. That's why it's never been more important for data centres to optimise their electricity use. But how? The International Energy Agency, or IEA, estimates that increasing demand for AI and digital services will double current global electricity consumption to 945 terawatt-hours by 2030, the same amount of energy it takes to power Japan. In the UK, data centres are set to increase by a fifth, putting pressure on an already overworked power grid. In fact, John Pettigrew, Chief Executive of National Grid, predicts that with the electrification of heat, transport and industry, demand on the grid will double by 2050. It is therefore vital that data centres seek every opportunity to reduce their demand by ensuring optimal operations and energy efficiency. That's where the Chauvin Arnoux CA8345 Qualistar Class A Power Quality Analyser comes in. To tell us how this Power Quality Analyser can improve electricity usage, we have Chauvin Arnoux's Regional Sales and Technical Manager, Elliot Ajose. So welcome, Elliot.
Thank you.
Last time Chauvin Arnoux were here, we talked about what the CA8345 Power Quality Analyser could measure and what applications it was suitable for. But if anybody hasn't seen that video, and you should have seen that video, please could you remind us about the monitoring and measuring capabilities of the CA8345?
No problem. So the CA8345 can do everything that the power and energy loggers, the PEL range can do, but it adds that extra feasibility in the sense it can capture transients, it can capture harmonics up to 127th order, and various other parameters. It can also test to EN50-160 using this button here. So it just gives you that extra bit of versatility with what you're trying to capture.
So the CA8345 is a Class A Power Quality Analyzer. So could you remind us what Class A means?
So Class A is the highest level of calibration standard in the sense that the unit itself is, whereas we have conformity certificates for the other one, this one is calibrated by an independent laboratory as well as checked when it's in France.
And it's done to a specific standard. I'm going to read the standard. It is the IECX 1000-4-30. And I suppose if it's calibrated to that standard, the results are comparable with other power quality analyzers that are calibrated to that standard as well.
Yeah. So this unit is used by the distribution network operators, so it is the top end within the Qualistar range.
So what separates the CA8345 from Chauvin Arnoux other Qualistar power quality analyzers?
What separates this unit is ultimately it captures those really small, sharp events. It can measure per cycle, 128 times per cycle. It is a lot faster in the sense of what it can capture, whereas the normal power and energy loggers, they take that data over a period of time and give you a minimum, a maximum, and an average. This captures them short time events.
And I suppose it being Class A also separates it from the other Qualistars, because they're not all Class A.
Exactly right. Being Class A, it separates it. So this can be used for the distribution network, energy personnel and engineers and quality people. So it's the highest standard in that sense.
Exactly. Today, we're talking specifically about how the Chauvin Arnoux CA8345 Qualistar Class A Power Quality Analyzer can benefit data centres. If you want more information about the CA8345, now is your chance to download the datasheet by clicking the box above. Alternatively, follow the link in the description to our website, where you'll also find an option to purchase. So before we talk about the CA8345, please could you explain why it's important for data centres to monitor their power and energy consumption?
So data centres use a mass amount of energy, and to see where that's wasted is really important. Not only that, data centres, it's important that their downtime becomes very costly. So if you've got a transient and stuff's tripping out and stuff's being affected, it's really important to capture that data, which is why you'd use a Class A CA8345.
So speaking of the CA8345, why is it particularly well suited to data centers?
Just the parameters that it can capture and the standard that it complies with, and also the versatility and variety of things that it can capture just gives the user that ability to analyze that data to a higher standard.
It's very comprehensive.
Yeah, it's a comprehensive unit, absolutely, really useful for data centers. Not only that, you can get alarm notifications sent to your email and stuff like that as well. And also remotely download. If they've got various data centers, you can remotely download that data from the comfort of your own home.
So there's a vast array of equipment in data centers, from HVAC systems to servers to security systems. So that's a lot to monitor. How does the CA8345 make that possible?
Ultimately, the CA8345 does that by 5 voltage channels, 1 for each phase, the neutral and earth, and then it has 4 current channels. So you put it around an incoming feed or supply, depending if it's usually 11 kV ring at data centers. You can actually put this on the HV side, so but you monitor it from the LV drop-down points within the substation. So there'll be a LV panel that you can connect the unit up and get it to reflect the HV side if you want to monitor the whole 11 kV ring.
So monitoring that many systems will generate a lot of data, which can be quite overwhelming. So how has Chauvin Arnoux designed the CA8345 to help the user with interpreting that data?
So we've got a 7-inch touchscreen display, and ultimately you can analyze all the data on the unit itself, or you can do it via the actual software. So we've got PAT-free software that allows you to download any data that's stored on the SD card, and then you can analyze that within the software.
And just for clarity, PAT in this instance stands for Power Analyzer Transfer Software. As I've mentioned, data centers include a lot of equipment, which means space is at a premium. How has Chauvin Arnoux designed the CA8345 so that it can work in these tight spaces?
So we've designed this with a handy, you can put a magnetic clip that goes onto panels, and with, also the small size of the unit. It's a little bit larger than our predecessor models, but ultimately you can stick it on a panel and use the magnetic hook that allows you to keep it out of the way.
I suppose another advantage is also you can remotely adjust these, can't you, and access them, which means like once you put them in that awkward to reach place, you don't then have to disturb a load of data center equipment to alter the configuration.
You can either do this over the same network. So if you connect this to the network, you can then actually analyze and reconfigure that data on the unit itself and change the configuration parameters. Not only that, you can connect it to, yet again, our IRD server, our internet relay device that basically allows you to log into the unit wherever you are in the world.
Yeah. So you can access data
remotely and do whatever you want. We configure the unit to capture different things and also change the alarm parameters and transient capture data within that.
So once it's in place, it can just stay in place.
Stay in place, and then, depending, you can delete.
The CA8345 is ideal for optimizing energy efficiency and power quality, but it can also help ensure that vital maintenance work can take place by assessing the health of backup power systems. Could you talk a little bit more about that, please?
So ultimately, with backup power systems, it won't check the actual capacity of the batteries themselves, but it captures voltage and current, so you can check ultimately, are they working effectively after, but you won't be able to check the actual capacity of that battery bank.
Another feature the CA8345 offers is that it can calculate watts per hour, I think it's energy cost and carbon footprint. So why are these calculations of particular use to data centers?
So they're vital. Data centers are using an extreme amount of energy, and to be able to populate that data to analyze how that can be reduced is really important today, and it will continue to be important. So it can capture all that, and it's very important. Yeah,
because I suppose if you're a data center and you use a lot of electricity, if you then waste a lot of electricity, that can be really, really expensive.
Yeah. So this is why it's really, it will show exactly the same as the PELs in the sense of the reactive power. So that wasted energy, and that's where you can bring stuff in as far as power factor correction goes. So if you haven't, most data centers, pretty much all data centers will have power factor correction, but it can show you basically if that power factor correction unit is inefficient and not working effectively.
Yeah. Now, we've talked about the measuring and monitoring capabilities of the CA8345 and how that would be useful to data centers. However, there is a cost attached to these units, and if I were in charge of a data center or as a facilities manager, I might say, running a data center is already really expensive, and I would need multiple power quality analyzers to cover my whole facility. Why should I shell out on a CA8345 or multiple CA8345s?
Really good question. What we're seeing commonly is people able to achieve a reduction in cost. You know, not only that, notifying you where those inefficiencies are within the site, and also potential transients that will be a fault potentially occurring down the line. It could be static buildup. It could be arcing on one of the lug ends in the substation. So yeah, you don't want downtime.
No.
In a data center, bottom line. So it's really important to be able to capture that data, and it does pay itself back over a period of time.
Yeah, you'll make the investment up in energy efficiency.
Exactly that, and also potential issues that are on site, whether it's harmonic issues or a transient that's going to occur over a period of time. It just helps you identify that.
Yeah, so it reduces running costs, and in reducing running costs, you increase profits.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is there anything else you think we should know about the CA8345?
Yeah, there is. There's ultimately with the unit itself, we can see the data live, so we can see the harmonics and what's not at that fundamental frequency, and also what frequency bandwidth that's in, up to the 127th. We can also see live data for the sine wave. You know, is there any non-linear load there that's drawing current non-sinusoidal that is causing harmonics? We can see all that data in the unit live when we attach it. So it's really useful added extra within the unit itself.
Great. And if you were to sum up the CA8345 in 3 words, what would they be?
So I would say the unit itself is compact, very lightweight, and the amount of data that it can give you is amazing. So
thank you, Elliot. That was very interesting. I hope we've shown you exactly why the Chauvin Arnoux CA8345 Qualistar is an essential power quality analyzer for data centers. Let us know in the comments. For more information, or maybe you'd like to purchase a CA8345, visit our website, tester.co.uk. If you want more Chauvin Arnoux, do check out our previous episodes with them and subscribe. That way, all future videos will come straight to you, so you'll never miss an important development. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, as it helps us reach more future-focused viewers like you. Okay, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.